Hello, and welcome to the Idle Actor Cold Reads series. My name is Adam, the actor with far too much time on his hands. Please hire me. In this Cold Read series, I'll be reading monologues from lesser known writers so that they have the opportunity to hear their words read out loud by a okay actor. So to emulate a table read or audition, I'll just take a minute to read the monologue I have in front of me for the first time. Then I'm going to give you a cold read. Then I'm going to take some time to do some analysis of the script. In this section, I'll be letting the writers know what I'm gathering from their work and what I'm using to inform how I play the part. After I've done this analysis, I'll give a second read that's hopefully a little different, more informed, and if my analysis seems to reify what I've already interpreted, I might just go with a different interpretation for the sake of it, just so that the writer can hear a couple of different interpretations of their words. I should say at the start, this script is written by my friend Mim Granahan. I have been in at least at least two of her other plays, but I have not read this one before. All right. With that said, let's get started. I actually went to a baseball game last week. My best friend bought tickets for a boyfriend as a birthday present, then he dumped her a week before his birthday. She didn't want to waste the tickets, so she dragged me along. What's a gay best friend for, right? It was actually kind of fun. I had no idea what was going on, but it reminded me of when you and Tommy would watch the games. Sometimes I'd sneak into the family room and sit behind the couch. I couldn't see the TV, but I could hear the announcers, and I could hear you and Tommy cheering and booing and talking about who should have been traded to another team. I was actually overwhelmed by those memories sitting there at the game. I could feel the old shag rug underneath me. I could smell Mom's cooking drifting in from the kitchen, and I suddenly thought to myself, I need to talk to Tommy. Brothers shouldn't just get in touch on birthdays and Christmas. I said to myself, I'm going to go home, I'm going to write a letter to Tommy. I didn't even know where to send it, but I figured I could ask Mom. I was writing the letter when Mom called and told me. I was writing to him and he was already dead. It was too late. Too late to tell him that all the jealousy, all the differences between us, none of that mattered. That I loved him. Okay. Now time for some analysis. Let me make sure the camera's actually running. So this character is named Michael, and there's some things we can gather from the script right away. As an actor, one of the things I do is try to take the information in the script at face value, and then where there isn't information, fill in the gaps. Now, those choices might be wrong, but what's in the words of the script isn't necessarily what's going on in the script. Like, what's a gay best friend for, after all, right? Is in the script, which makes me read it as if I am gay, and what's not said in the script, but what might be in the subtext, is that my brother who has died is straight, and that might be one of the differences between us. So the information that's in the script is that I'm gay. What I'm assuming is that my brother probably isn't, and that's one of the differences between us. But that doesn't necessarily, even what's in the script might not be true. This person he went to the baseball games with might, like he might be pursuing her. He is straight, but he's lied to her and told her he's gay. Like there's a whole subplot you could make up in your brain, but as an actor, I have to trust what's on the page, and not try to make my own story. He says I could hear you and Tommy cheering and booing and talking about who should have been traded to another team. So I can tell from this sentence that the person I'm talking to is a good friend of Tommy's, probably closer to his own age. So he's having this sensory experience. He could smell Mom's cooking coming in from the kitchen. So he's really in the moment and realizes he needs to talk to Tommy. He's relaying this whole story to this probably very good friend of Tommy's. All right. So that's all the information that I think I got on the first read. There isn't a whole lot that would change my interpretation of this script. So, one of the things I do as an actor is if there is emotion in this scene, I tend to swing for the fences. You can always be taken back. It's hard to be pushed up. So I went with the maybe the most emotional read of this scene that I could pull off, given my meager talent. But let's try this again. And let's put a spin on it. Let's assume that Michael is a little jealous of this person who is great friends with Tommy. And maybe a little resentful of the time he got to spend with Tommy and their closeness. It's implied in this script that the main character and Tommy had some differences that maybe kept them separated a little bit. Let's try a read with a little more animus in it. You know, I actually went to a baseball game last week. My best friend bought tickets for her boyfriend as a birthday present, and then he dumped her a week before his birthday. She didn't want to waste the tickets, so she dragged me along. You know, what's a gay best friend for, after all, right? It was actually kind of fun. I mean, I had no idea what was going on, but it reminded me of when you and Tommy would watch the games. Sometimes I'd sneak into the family room, sit behind the couch. I couldn't see the TV, but I could hear the announcers, and I could hear you and Tommy cheering and booing and talk about who should have been traded to another team. I was actually overwhelmed by those memories, sitting there at the game. I could feel the old shag rug underneath me. I could smell Mom's cooking drifting in from the kitchen, and I suddenly thought to myself, I need to talk to Tommy. Brothers shouldn't just get in touch on birthdays and Christmas. I said to myself, I'm going to go home and I'll write a letter to Tommy. I didn't even know where to send it, but I figured I could ask Mom. I was writing the letter when Mom called and told me. I was writing to him, and he was already dead. It was too late. Too late to tell him that all the jealousy, all the differences between us, none of that mattered, that I loved him. And scene. I don't know how much of my animus towards the person I intended to speak to came through there, but it did change the pacing a little bit. Some of the deeper emotions still surfaced. I mean, they're in the writing. It's hard to get away from. Mim gave me permission to actually critique her, so I am going to do a little critique now. It's always hard to tell in a monologue that's part of a larger piece what information is necessary and what isn't. Um, my friend bought tickets for her boyfriend as a birthday present. Then he dumped her a week before his birthday. She didn't want to waste the tickets. She dragged me along. That's a lot of story that is sort of, I guess I would ask Mim if it's information that Tommy's friend needs to know from our character, or if it is a way for our character to. Sometimes people speak too much to hide what they're feeling. But usually when they do that, they would be speaking about their opinions. They would refocus on themselves internally about something that they emotionally can detach from in a way. So if our character is going to be speaking about her friend's boyfriend, maybe he should have a strong opinion about that. That is a way to distract from what he's feeling. The gay best friend, that might be important information in this monologue to come out, so it might be necessary. And this is a good way of getting that information in. It doesn't seem too much like exposition. There are some sensory things in here. I could feel the old shag rug. I could smell Mom's cooking. I think that's good stuff, but it's maybe even too general. Like if he's hiding behind the couch, what is he staring at that entire... my suggestion would be maybe to put yourself exactly in that position. Smelling Mom's cooking, that's good. Maybe she's cooking something specific. Being more specific helps. If it's the feeling of the shag rug, maybe there's something about that specific feeling of the old shag rug, like maybe it's crusty from when Tommy was trying to cook an omelet and ended up on the rug, or maybe it's folded in half because the dog peed on it or something like that. While our main character is back there, he found something he thought he lost while he's still trying to listen to Tommy and his friend talk about the game. And if they're talking about the game, who should have been traded to another team, there's a fine line you can walk between a character having specific memories and being too general and too specific. Like, because this character doesn't know anything about baseball, he might not remember team names or what player they're talking about being traded. But it might be nice to have some exact verbiage from Tommy or the friend. Again, making it more specific makes it feel more real to the audience. I liked a little bit of I didn't even know where to send it. This really sells the idea that it's a spur of the moment inspiration and not something he's planning. I think that's neat. People acting without fully thinking through what they're doing is always fun, and realistic, because that's what we're doing most of the time. Like this web series. Did I really plan this out very well? I don't know. I'm just rambling now. Is this good? Is this good content? I don't. That ending line, that I loved him. This is a place where, as a writer, you could go either way. That I loved him is very on the nose, which, as an actor, makes me want to play it like this is where the emotional swell is, or right before this is where the emotional swell is, because that is so on the nose that it is, because it's going so straight at what the emotion is. He's lost control a little bit. He's not trying to hide it, or he can't hide it, what he's feeling. And that can be good. If you wanted the scene to be a little more subdued or complicated, having the character say that I loved him might not be exactly what you say. What's the word? I say words for a living. You hide, you dissemble what your real emotions are. Maybe not that I loved him, maybe I missed him. But that's like purely what the scene is trying to do. I don't know what this monologue is trying to do in the scene. That I loved him, that is so straightforward, that it definitely tells the actor there has to be emotion slipping out, that he is losing control, he's unable to be subtle or to make a metaphor. He's just got to say what he's actually feeling, which makes it pretty powerful. I think this is a good monologue that captures a lot of information and conveys it to the audience without being too expository. Like, we know Michael is gay, that he cares about his brother, that his brother's away, that he used to hide and listen to his brother and his brother's friend watch baseball and talk about baseball. And I'm getting from this he was a younger brother. All of this stuff is good information that's hidden in, which is in something that's only a paragraph long. I think this is a really good monologue, Mim. And I enjoy your work. All right. So, if you'd like me to read your monologue, you can first subscribe. I will check. To email idleactor@gmail.com. Idleactor, all one word, @gmail.com. Put your script in a PDF and make sure it's either in screenplay or play format, because it's really hard to read a sentence that goes all the way across the page in a very tight block of a paragraph. Screenplay format or playwriting format, please. List any social media or contact info you'd like me to put in the comments section, and let me know if it's okay to critique. If it's not okay to critique, I will just tell you what I think is what the monologue is saying to me as an actor, and what causes me to make adjustments as an actor. But if you say it's okay to critique, I will point out some things where I think maybe there's trouble or things that are going well. I'm not going to tell you what you did well if I can't also tell you what I think, where I think there were some stumbling blocks in the script. But thanks for tolerating this too long, rambly stuff. Thanks. New York City. Gotta love it. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a car alarm going off. Awesome. Okay, let's try that again. Man, this is going to be more challenging than I thought.